Another day with high temperatures in the 20s, and it is the last time we will see that this month. Just how warm are we going to get before February arrives? Paula?
Hey there, party over here in Novi at the America's Got Talent auditions. This is a mad scene, and you've got to be here. Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to bring you here in a live report. Karen? Also first at 4, State Senator Pete Lucido was accused of making sexist remarks last week. Now he's facing a sexual harassment claim from a fellow senator. What she says he did. Up first, breaking news from the impeachment trial of President Donald Trump. Why Democrats are saying the trial is designed to favor the president. We have the latest first at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, we are online for you as NBC continues live coverage of the president's impeachment trial. But we do want to get you caught up with what's happened so far, including a flip-flop from Mitch McConnell. Let's get to Devin Skillion. He's in the newsroom. And Devin, the proposed rules of the trial just changed in the last hour.
Exactly right, Karen. A surprising turnaround from the Senate Majority Leader. Earlier, you may recall, McConnell had outlined the rules that would keep this trial moving as quickly as possible. He faced some pushback from Democrats and a few Republicans, it should be noted. But the so-called McConnell resolution was going to give House managers and the president's legal team 24 hours each over 2 days to make their opening arguments. Democrats say that would push crucial presentations into the very late night, in fact, almost overnight hours, certainly on the East Coast, when the public is less likely to watch. Well, late today, McConnell changed that from 24 hours over 2 days to over 3 days, which does slow things down a bit. Also, McConnell agreed to admit all of the evidence from the House procedures or proceedings were not a part of the original resolution, certainly, so that's a change. But things are moving so fast that those changes are being scrawled by hand onto the resolution that has already been printed. The resolution does still not call for any new witnesses. There's still deep disagreement on that question. Both sides spent the afternoon debating these rules. McConnell has indicated he is ready to shoot down too many changes if they are put forth.
If any amendments are brought forward to force premature decisions on mid-trial questions, I will move to table such amendments and protect our bipartisan precedent.
The McConnell rules seem to be designed by President Trump for President Trump. It asks the Senate to rush through as fast as possible and makes getting evidence as hard as possible.
So as you can see, things change very quickly from hour to hour. Senator McConnell has said the Senate will stay in session until a rules package is adopted. So we are watching these events, bringing you updates here coming up at 5 and 6. We'll certainly have more both online and on air. Karen, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Devin. At this hour, the action continues inside the U.S. Senate. We are monitoring events. You can always see what's happening at clickondetroit.com. Plus, there are other articles, including a look at the question, can an impeached president run for re-election? Stay with Click on Detroit and Local 4 for ongoing coverage. We're also following breaking news from the CDC as the United States has its first confirmed case of the mysterious coronavirus. Officials say the man returned to Seattle last week after traveling to central China, where that outbreak began. China says it's tracking more than 300 cases, which has been linked to the deaths of 6 people. The U.S. is the 5th country to report a case of this new illness. Health officials say the man is in his 30s and is listed in good condition. Michigan State Senator Peter Lucido is facing a claim of sexual harassment from a fellow lawmaker. Senator Mallory McMorrow of Royal Oak has filed a complaint with the Senate Business Office. Both senators were at work today in Lansing, across the room from each other. She says Lucido put his arm on her lower back and said things that made her uncomfortable. McMorrow says it happened during Senate training back in 2018. Lucido categorically denies the claim, calls it politically motivated. New at 5, you'll hear from Senator McMorrow as she shares her story for the first time on camera. The man accused of doing donuts on I-94 in Detroit faced a judge today in court. 22-year-old Devin Kronk is charged with reckless driving and disturbing the peace. You might remember this video of him allegedly doing those donuts on the freeway that quickly went viral in December. Kronk was briefly taken into custody today to post bond for those charges and another outstanding traffic misdemeanor. He's due back in court later this month. Got some good news for homeowners in the city of Detroit. For the second straight year, Detroit leads Wayne County in property value increases. Mayor Mike Duggan announcing today a 20% increase in property values, the largest citywide increase in 20 years. 187 out of the 194 neighborhoods in Detroit saw their property values rise in 2019. Mayor says even as values rise, most homeowners will not see an increase in property taxes. He also says residents can feel the difference.
This won't be a surprise to people in the neighborhoods. There was a time when the only place you could see houses being fixed up in the city was when the land bank sales were being worked on. Now you go into neighborhoods across the city and you see people starting to invest in their homes because they know the value is there.
City officials say homeowners are protected by 2% caps on property tax increases. Moving to Davos, Switzerland, climate change is one of the hot topics at an annual World Economic Forum. World leaders hearing from President Trump and the teenager who was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. 17-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg of Sweden was invited to share her views. While President Trump discounts climate concerns, Thunberg says the world is ignoring reports of high carbon dioxide emissions that fuel global warming.
But honestly, I don't think I have once seen any media outlets or person in power communicated this and what it means. I know you don't want to report about this. I know you don't want to talk about this. But I assure you I will continue to repeat these numbers until you do.
We must reject the perennial prophets of doom and their predictions of the apocalypse. They are the heirs of yesterday's foolish fortune tellers, and I have them, and you have them, and we all have them. And they want to see us do badly, but we don't let that happen.
The annual forum in Davos draws nearly 3,000 business, civic, and government leaders from more than 100 countries. Now we have a Local 4 update on the search for the gunman in a shooting inside of a bar in San Antonio. A 19-year-old man has been arrested and charged with killing 2 people at the San Antonio nightclub on Sunday. Kieran Christopher Williams is also accused of wounding 5 people. Witnesses say he argued with one of the victims before the shooting. Williams claims he acted in self-defense. His Instagram account said Williams was scheduled to perform at the club that night. Police say Williams is being charged with capital murder. In New York City today, 2 police officers were honored for arresting the suspect in a December 28th Hanukkah stabbing at the home of a rabbi in a suburban community. The officers arrested the suspect in Harlem 2 hours after the attack that left 5 people wounded. The suspect is facing attempted murder and federal hate crime charges. The officers were presented with recognition bars to wear on their uniforms to honor their actions. Ben is back on this very cold and blustery Tuesday.
Ooh. Coldest of the week, though.
Yeah.
It's all going up after
here. Then that's good news, because I was out shooting my story today. I was bundled up and I still was cold.
Yeah. In fact, we may not see the 20s again for a whole month.
Good.
So we're definitely going on the right track, but to this day, not so much. 29 is where we sit right now. The wind chill's at 19 with that 11-mile-an-hour wind. Now, we are going to have wind chills tomorrow that actually make it feel a little bit colder, despite the fact that the temperature is actually going to be increasing. So we're here at 29, and again, it seems like this entire winter, we've seen this little pocket of cold air hanging out on the other side of Lake Michigan. 19 in Des Moines right now, 20 in Minneapolis, Duluth also at 20 degrees. But our temperatures are going up, and likely we will see the 40s before too long. And once they get here, it looks like they may hang out for a while. High pressure is going to be responsible for keeping us dry. Rain and snow not an issue until we get into Thursday, and even then, it looks like it may only be parts of our north zone that get it. This is our sort of our short-term model. I want to switch over to the long-range model as we head into the weekend, and you can start seeing this system move in as it gets a little bit closer. We will start to see those showers develop on Friday, I should say, in the morning, and then start to move in as liquid as we get through the day. Once we head into the second half, that's when things start to get at least somewhat snowy. And again, this is our long-range model, so the resolution not as low, but you can see that this is still going to be a big mix, and we think it's going to be a crunchy mix where it's going to be mostly sleet, snow pellets, but not the freezing rain stuff that's going to accumulate ice. So there will be snow, there will be rain, there will be some mix in between. And then as we get into Sunday, a brief break before we'll probably see some lake effect stuff coming in as we finish the weekend. So for a third weekend in a row, we're going to be looking for accumulating snow, but as of right now, it doesn't look like much, probably less than 2 inches across the area. 18 tonight, skies partly cloudy, high temperatures tomorrow going to hit 34 degrees. But as we mentioned, it's going to feel colder. 7 a.m. wind chills tomorrow. South zone numbers, single digits in spots. And you can see metro zone is going to be very similar to this, where we'll be just above 10 for how it's going to feel walking out the door on Wednesday morning. So same goes here in the west zone. 9, 10, 11 are your three choices out there. And north zone wind chills on 7 a.m. on Wednesday, anywhere between 8 in Marlette and 11 down towards the M59 corridor on Wednesday morning. It does get warmer from there. 30s will take us into Friday. Once we hit the 40s, though, we are going to stay there for Monday through the entire next work week. And even though this looks like a mess, it's not going to accumulate much as we get into the weekend, Karen. So probably be shoveling something, but a lot less than we did this weekend, that's for sure.
We'll appreciate that. Thank you, Ben. Thousands of your friends, families, and neighbors are lining up ready to shine for the producers of America's Got Talent. That show turned the Detroit Youth Choir into a national sensation last season. Well, now the producers are back looking for the next big thing. Paula Tutman has been in Novi all day long talking with many aspiring stars. Paula, have they found any prospects?
Oh my gosh, who knew your neighbors could do stuff like this? This is Stephen from KZoo. Right here you have DYC. They are on deck. They're getting ready to do a couple of numbers to just kind of get the crowd going, a real party atmosphere. Listen, DYC, Detroit Youth Choir, they are the reason that AGT is actually back for a second year in a row doing auditions, just because they have such spectacular talent here.
Every time we're in Detroit, we find undeniable talent. Talent that surprises, that shocks, that inspires people.
And so they've been piling into the suburban showplace all day for their chance at a Motor City repeat. Detroit Youth Choir is on site to lend support, join in the fun, and give some sage advice.
My advice to other people is to remain humble. If you didn't make it the first time, I advise you to re-audition another time.
Interestingly enough, we only found a few folks actually from the Detroit metro area, like Diliante, who plays the violin, and Justin, who plays the guitar. They just kind of stumbled over one another.
Dilio asked me to jam, and we just started jamming.
Never done anything like this, so this is a first.
They've come all the way from Atlanta, like Simone, who writes her own music.
So basically this whole thing is called the South Indian Cowgirl.
New Hampshire, like Tiffany, who sings like a powerhouse. But few have come this way.
Freedom is mine.
Noah. She was born with a cleft palate. She comes from Chicago, where she has been bullied for her appearance. Yet miraculously, the fluke of correcting the defect is why she is here today.
Well, I've been singing since I could talk, and I just want to share my voice with the world.
And this is the result of her numerous surgeries.
She still has like a pinhole at the top of her palate, and it gives her a really unique sound.
Freedom is mine. I know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me.
She just wants to share with the world that you don't all have to look the same, and don't worry about it, and the voice and your voice, and everyone has a voice that matters.
You know, when you look at the dictionary under the word courage, that little girl's face has got to be there. I just talked to her. She auditioned. She said she wasn't sure she did that great. She got a case of the nerves, but she is going to submit another audition online. And that's another thing. Depending on what you do, if you have a high wire act or something that can't be brought to the showplace, no worries. Just send in your audition tape, and the judges will see you there. If you are in line at 7 o'clock tonight, the judges will see you. What do you have to lose? Just come out and have fun. It's a real party. Karen?
It looks like a whole lot of fun, and it looks like the age range is just all over the place, right? You've got young and old.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen a couple of folks who I think you might categorize as a curmudgeon. Not sure what they do, but they are here. Listen, it doesn't matter what you do. What the heck? Come on out. The water's warm. Jump in.
Give it a try. I love it. All right, we'll be following your stories here online and on social media as well. Thank you, Paula. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for this online edition of First at 4. NBC coverage of the impeachment trial continues. And if there is a break in the action, we'll bring you our local news tonight at 5 and 6. Meantime, stay with Local 4 and click on Detroit.com for all of your news, weather, and sports. Have a great afternoon.